of the most iconic AWPers in the game. He had his moments on train. He had a couple of nice rounds, but I don't know if it's enough. We'll have to see. Inferno is a map where AWPs can have a lot of control. If you set one up on mid or establish one in banana and then allow a player to rotate on CT side, there's a lot of options. I'm hoping he has some more impact, but we'll see. Do you reckon we're going to a map 3?
Look, I still think we can, but it's obviously going to be G2 that really needs to step up to the plate here as we do move on to Inferno. I'm excited. Simple. He's just as good offline as he is online, and he's going to be continuing that form as well. Let's get into Inferno.
So into Inferno we go. It's looking for the 2-0 for NaVi here as you see them in CT spawn with a chicken to be their friend. I'm going to name him Bob, and that's what he is now. Starting out with those USPs, of course. That means G2 on their T side. They'll be looking to get some momentum happening. I'd love to say continue it, but they found only the one round on the previous map of trains. They'll be looking to step up here. Let's see where they're going with it. Heavy A stack for NaVi. A lot of presence mid. They want to fight this, actually, and all of G2 are here. Kenny S and Hunter will go well. Kenny S and Electronic even will trade him. Simple's looking to push down Banana as well as G2. They've found the pick in mid and lost the player as Electronic is still here putting pressure on.
Those GG bet odds clearly going the way of what we're sort of expecting, though, right now. You know, the pressure has just been on the shoulders of G2 for the majority of this series so far. But in the 1-versus-1 trade, we are now in a 4v4 situation. Flamey, of course, does still have the kit in hand. And Simple, just sort of playing with his food over towards Banana. Iconic, ironic by just that. I think that's probably, the Banana position is probably one of the most well thought after in such a long period of time. We've seen so many exciting things happen from that location, but it does look like they won't be heading that way. Simple, you know, obviously the guard to lock that down. G2 slowly making their way towards A. They do move into the apartments, looking to take some control, and they might be met by Electronic shortly, who's just sitting and waiting patiently inside the big pit.
This is a strong angle for him, and he does have Boomage for support as well. Flamey's not too far away. In they go, though. The flashbang is perfect. It'll allow them out. Electronic can't quite find anything. Boomage, he's got a chance. Boomage has gone down. Electronic will get one and be overrun. That is the A-bomb site given up. NaVi already charging back in. It's Simple and Flamey for the retake. 2 versus 3. Smoke down, though, will allow the plant. They've got a kit. They've only got the one grenade to get back in here. G2 off to a good start here on their T side.
This HE could very well dunk Jax, but it's got to meet the right location. Of course, Flamey still with that kit in hand as they do start to try and slowly move on in. Kenny just toying with them for the time being. The nade, though, won't connect, but the headshot will. Flamey able to find it. Nexa just waiting inside the big pit. He's actually been tagged up here as well. Jax will be able to find Flamey, but now we see Simple into a 1-on-2 situation. 20 points of HP, has the kit, and he also has the aim. Simple popping off here on that retake. The A site can be so challenging to recover, but Flamey and Simple get the job done. Simple in the 1v2, 20 points of HP. Are you joking me?
Righto, Simple. That's the sort of start we expect from the man. Going straight out onto the M4 already. SMGs for his teammates, or 2 SMGs, a couple rifles as well. They're looking to put the screws to G2 really early on in this one. Kenny going to go for an AK-47 here, try and do some damage. The rest of his teammates with SMGs to soften up and mop up behind that rifle. But he's got a lot of work to do here, facing down 3 rifles on the CT side, plus a bunch of utility. And they got the one kit on Simple, but Kenny, he's actually gone for the banana push by himself. Fortunately, hits the shot, the flash is there. And that all of a sudden puts Flamey with the MP9 under a lot of pressure until his teammates can arrive. G2 have that bomb down in second mid, so they haven't committed to anything just yet, but they've found that first pick completely unanswered. And that's a good start to a round in which their buy isn't the greatest.
Well, could almost be said, right? Welcome to Counter-Strike. You win the opening CT round, and then all of a sudden, G2 end up coming in with weapons almost equal to what you actually bring at them. So, Kenny S with the AK has already found that opening pick, and then it's just SMGs on the rest of it. So, Simple does still have the M4 in hand. Flamey able to find one, but Kenny with another. Jack swinging through, straight through the smoke to take the head off of Simple. And now Electronic has to try and rock up and do something through the fire and the flames. He will carry on. But now into 3-on-2, tapping through the smoke will be Perfecto, waiting patiently, 3v2. Jack's obviously still very, very low. Now creeping in will be Electronic inside Emo. Jack's not going to be crying, though, as Kenny S going to swing out and at least find one. The 1-on-1, though, Perfecto. Chef's kiss on that one, as he will get the retake. And a second round here for NaVi, despite the force in from G2. Their money's not going to be the greatest, likely just want to take the knee again, go for the save, and wait on into round 4.
That said, that's a really, really good round for G2. They get the bomb down. They get 4 kills out of a round that they started with 1 AK and a bunch of SMGs. It was a good buy on the CT side for NaVi, and they almost lost it. They're going to have to reinvest pretty heavily here. It was some good heroics in the retake, and Perfecto, you always felt like he had that one in the bag. Jax was so low on that angle. Not a lot he could do, but again, G2, they've got themselves into a better buy than last round. Despite everyone going down, they get the 4 kills, and now they're going for a full execute on that B bomb site. Look at the map. Utility flying in, flashes, mollies, smokes. CTs, though, quick to deploy their own to keep them back. And that will stall off this banana play for now. 3 players and the bomb there, but already G2 are reconsidering. And NaVi have dumped a lot of utility. They've still got a couple of smokes, but running pretty low on the grenade side of things, as it must be said, are the Ts. But NaVi use a lot of grenades here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. And G2, they went back towards A briefly, had a look around in second mid, peeked into apps, trying to catch someone on NaVi, just getting a little bit too antsy, but nothing given. And it looks like it'll either be a light execute or a contact play onto B. That smoke is good. It's going to buy them another 15 seconds or so. The nade, also good. But there is no other smoke on this side of the map now.
What do you think about this buy, Tim? That's what I was sort of...
NaVi or G2?
Yeah, from G2. You know, obviously they go in, they test the waters once more, and, you know, by the way that they've gone already.
It's better than last round. They nearly won last round, but they haven't checked the boost properly, and that will punish them. Boomich with 2. Kenny S already incredibly low. That's looking like it might be the end of the round already, and there's still 3 players up.
Well, will they be able to make this one pay off for them? You know, the risk versus reward, it's obviously very, very high, but you're getting into this territory where the loss bonus does start to stack up. G2 might be able to put themselves into the pole position, but Hunter showing up with 2. The Galil getting the job done, but there's Simple. Simple to find Hunter. Kenny S will be able to get the trade. Now it's a 2-on-2. Simple can reposition over towards the site. Kenny S will be found, but now this positioning from Nexa, hiding in the pit. Trying to move through the smoke, and Perfecto. He will go down. G2 able to keep it clean, and that was a 3-on-5, locking down that B bomb site. Very, very well done here from G2. Hunter stepping up when he was required, and then Nexa to close it out. Very well done from G2 on a recovery here as they find their first. Massive
with the Galil there. Such a difficult weapon to use with that sort of precision, but it works out for him. Look at this. So clean. So clean. Tapfire takes his time, very patient with it, and nails the shots that he needs to hit. That's going to break NaVi's economy. It's pistols for them. Worth noting, look at the amount of grenades they have. They can do some damage to the T-side players with those, but depends on where G2 want to go. G2 are actually going towards apps where there are a couple of NaVi players, and they're going to be playing close angles against CZs, which I'm not sure I like. They are double stacked up with SMGs, so they're very ready for this. Electronic finds 1. Will get traded. Not the worst thing in the world for G2. That's why you have the SMGs, to get clear out those close angles and make it so your rifles don't get caught off. And that bomb is still in T-spawn. They haven't committed anywhere just yet. They're going to hunt for kills, see what info they can find. Blood in the water for G2. NaVi just had the pistols.
So just buying their time a little while longer. The smoke grenades still in hand. Might be able to afford themselves a little bit of extra time, but Simple looking to reposition down towards Diggity, making sure that no one is inside Boiler, but still the G2 guys still playing a bit more of a passive route, waiting to see if there will be any aggression thrown at them. Of course, Electronic finding that one inside the apartments, but now they do start to creep back towards B. Looks like they might recollect, collecting the bomb at the T stairs, the old fabled position where it will be left for a lot of the round, as they do try and feel the waters through and through. Flamey will reposition. I do like this spot, actually, just on the other side of the smoke, because with 30 seconds remaining, Tim, all the pressure is going to be on Flamey. He has chosen to move back in towards the first oranges. He's got the flash to pop off. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, nothing will be spotted on the other side. But now they move in. Flamey, here we go, Tim. Will he be able to open up with more? Does find the first. Kenny S. Now moving on in. He's run out of bullets, though. But he might have actually just bought his team enough time. Look at this rotate. Moving in quickly now. Boomich at the top of Banana already. Simple will be joining him, but there's the bomb planted. They do have a kit. They do have the time. But it's going to be tough as G2 look to lock down the site.
Flamey could have bought any more time there. It would have made things hairy for G2, but they managed to get the frag. They'll get that bomb down, and they've got some decent positions as well, all in the back of that bomb site, and there is no Molotovs on the NaVi side to force them out. One smoke, one flashbang. Simple spotted one. There's the flash. No more util. It has to be the aim jewels now, and Nexa going to win the first. It's just the pistols remaining. Boomich, he's recovered that Galil, but so little he can do with it, and he will be taken down by Nexa. A nice quick headshot to close it. Perfecto even, surely not getting away. with that CZ, and there it is. SMG cleans it up. G2, very nice round. They unfortunately lose the one player, but it's just the SMG, so not the worst. And they'll stabilize here. 2 rounds apiece on Inferno.
Good recovery here. You know, they take the risk, they force into that third round, I believe it was, and obviously they were rewarded, and now they move on in. They've managed to put NaVi into a position when they needed to force in. They certainly did make it tight, but obviously in the end, 2 members of G2 do live on, starting to look towards stacking up that economy a little bit more. NaVi will now be in the full eco, simple, just with that P250, and it looks like they're not going to be affording themselves an AWP in any near round either, you know, whether or not they choose to save into the next. But with all around 2K, they should be able to afford themselves a relatively decent buy into what will be the 6th round. Amanek, just with that Mac 10, looking to farm up something. But for the time being, G2, they still want to show NaVi some respect. They're going to wait patiently down towards the end of bottom mid. It looks like NaVi might have a little trick up their sleeves as they are looking to potentially push down mid, but it's going to be a bit of a scary peak prospect. There it is. Kenny to rip the head off a simple.
This many USPs can do work if you can all peek at the exact same time and chip players down, and they are all going for this angle, but unfortunately she's a little bit too separated. Kenny's going to fall back and let his teammates do the work. Perfecto does find 2. You have to think they're not getting too much more out of this, given that those guns are not recoverable, and Jax has the angle, but he's given himself away now. He'll have to fall back. And all things considered, this is actually pretty good for NaVi. They've done some decent damage. Even though the round is not looking good, they've given G2 something to think about. G2 are going to have to stick around here and waste some time in order to try and retrieve these guns, throw them out of the map, which is what they are currently doing. Amanek manages to get the second AK, but he's going to go down. Perfecto's on point with the USP. Surely not.
He thinked him. Oh my. How have G2 let that happen there? They've lost all but 1 member here in Jax. And I mean, look, they've got enough money to buy into the next, but if NaVi, if they solidify a really, really good push here, they might be able to throw off G2 very, very early on. They are going to buy in. Electronics picked up that rifle. Simple did have enough for the glass cannon, but in the end, he's opted. No, it was Perfecto, rather. So they've just stuck with the rifles for the time being. Only 1 round behind G2, and certainly with the pressure that they put in, it's sort of, you know, in the previous round, I blinked and it was at a 2v2.
Indeed it is. Here comes the pressure onto Banana. Lots of utility here, and Boomich is burning. He's actually above the smoke, and they haven't spotted him. The flash is so good from Flamey to allow him in. That's a kill with SA. No one else from a T side is even close. Hunter back. Banana cannot stop anything there. Boomich doesn't upgrade his gun, so he's still with the MP9, but he's got a kill and it's unanswered, and it's the bait and switch setup here for the player in Graveyard. It's simple in Graveyard. If find the one, he's got a player in fit to support himself as well. It's not looking good for G2.
Pressure is on, starting to amount now. Kenny S trying to get out of the apartments, but in the end, he will have to hightail it out of there. Hunter now moving up towards Dig. Simple, just inside the Graveyard. He has spotted out Hunter, I do believe. The damage has been dealt onto Electronic. But unfortunately, Kenny has 6 points of HP. It's going to be a challenge. They've still got plenty of time on the clock, a full minute to remain. But as they do creep up Dig now, Simple's actually repositioned as well, just onto the opposing side of this Graveyard, not longer sitting from the stairwell. Electronic just still sitting there, happy to spot. And I think it's going to be the cleanup crew here. Simple is going to afford himself a second in the round. There we go. Very, very clean. Flawless coming out from NaVi. G2, unfortunately, they're going to be feeling that one a little bit firm as now they're looking down the barrel of an eco, Tim.
And just when things were starting to stabilize for them, NaVi equalize it. And given the economy, they've got the lead, essentially. The scoreboard might say it's all tied up, but when you have a look at what G2 are going to be able to rebuy here, which is nothing, NaVi might as well already be at 4-3. So the real question for me is going to be how clean this is for NaVi. Up against the Pistols, they should have a good time, but we've seen over and over again in Tier 1 CS that the Pistols are going to do enough. These players are incredibly sharp, and when you've only got to hit one headshot with a deagle, can be risky. And you can see that here from NaVi. They're throwing their util, but they're not just outright peeking, never mind. Boomich is, but he peeks with the support of the util. And you can see the G2 are just playing their corners, playing their range, trying to find themselves a headshot. If they can get one pick, they might be in a pretty good position here. And the timing's not there, but there it is. Boomich down, and that's what I was talking about. This is where pressure will start to mount for NaVi. It's only an SMG given over, but still have to be very careful in these rounds. They've got to play their crossfires now, leverage the power of the rifles, and G2 are splitting up. 2 players head towards B, going to make a bit of noise while the real hit comes to A.
It's funny how the teams always sort of do approach the eco rounds a little bit differently, you know. Moving in with the full buys, it's always playing it like you're going to win it out, but then sometimes you can usually make those little slip-up plays where the pistols do strive. But exactly as you mentioned, this flank, Hunter starting to walk on through now. We'll spot the head of Flamey. That's another pick. It's going to be all on a Perfecto here. The pressure starts to amount as he tries to lock down this site. Very, very common from the new box. Great flash, as you mentioned. Perfecto, he's locking this down completely solo. Has found 3. Looking to pick up a 4th here. Armanek, the USP getting the job done. And Perfecto, what an immaculate round sitting from the back of the site. The B site is his. And unfortunately, G2, they knock on the door, but it gets slammed right back in their face. NaVi now with 4.
Clean as you like from Perfecto. There's the ace. All 5 for himself. And that's the power of the Deagle. I mentioned it, and Nexa immediately punishes Boomich. Yep, I'd be annoyed by that too. Nothing more annoying than peeking out and the Deagle just ripping your head off. But NaVi, they stabilize, they punish it. Again, they do lose some guns, but they're able to get a full buy out of it. Once again, they've got 2 AKs, 3 M4s. And G2, Armanek, rocking a Mac 10. Couldn't really afford anything else, and nobody could drop him, but he'll just be the point scout now. He's going to go fast, go into these apartments, into the halls. Basically, the only places on this map where the SMG can actually do work for him. They're not really ranged weapons. They can work, but against rifles, I'm not loving it. So he's going to be the point man, the scout for his team. And G2, we haven't really seen too much in the way of apps used from them, apart from the one round they tried to flood out. I believe it was the pistol. Second round, something like that.
Yep.
They tried the flood apps approach, but haven't got too much out of it. NaVi with 3 players over here, including Simple, lying in wait in the corner. He'll wait until they run to Arch. He's not going to let them wrap through B again. Not this time.
You fooled me once.
They haven't really committed to anywhere just yet. They're waiting to see if they get any info at all. They're waiting for a mid peak, certainly, looking at how all of their team is set up. But it looks like it's going to be a mid-take here. There you go. Utility out for A. They could have turned and gone to B, but they're not doing it now. They've taken complete control of the lower bracket, and it's a fake. One player to make noise. Jax will destroy Simple. That'll help to sell it. And now G2 stop. Do we commit to going to B? Do we swap or do we go back on that frag? They do decide to go with it. And I think there will be just enough for info for NaVi at A to call. This is coming, but they're not going to get there in time. And no, in fact, Boomich, no, he's just trying to flash. He'll be right there as the team's flood in.
This could be big, impressive stuff coming out for Boomich. He will only find 2 in the end. The flashbang was mint, but in the end, 15 seconds remain. Jax is certainly aware that there is a possible prospect. Electronic on this flank might be able to find him, but Electronic is going to be able to pick up the frag. So 2 on 2 now, slowly starting to creep their way in. Armanek, Nexa. On the other side of the coffins, they will be gambling over towards that CT position. It is actually going to be quite hard for these guys to actually find it. Perfecto and Electronic, but they do pick up. Perfecto, he's been consistent. Able to get up, jumping onto the top of Oranges now, and they do line up in the end for Nexa. Some damage dealt onto Perfecto, but in the end, that was actually a very clean retake from NaVi. I do believe if Jax was able to find that pick onto Electronic, it might have gone a little bit differently, but very well done. NaVi, they continue their structure. They're able to continue to lock this down. 5 and 3.
And good movement to go up over the top there from NaVi as well. Looks like we're looking at this Perfecto ace again because it was so clean, so good. He actually runs out of M4 ammo here and gets the last 2 with the USP. Very nice work from him indeed. But yeah, going up on top of first Oranges there. Nexa, they wouldn't have expected him to be there. It's rare that T players will double stack in a position like that. Most of the time, they're going to try and find a crossfire so they can lock you out. The double stack limits them to one angle, but you don't necessarily see it coming. However, because one player goes up high, they split themselves. A vertical split is incredibly hard to hit. You can't really spray transfer vertically consistently at all, and it's going to be the pistols here. 1 SMG, Boomich, this time the Lord of Banana. Close thing for Simple, but not quite going to connect. And G2, they'll try for the apps play. But Electronic is here and ready for it. Up high, standing proud. First kill, easy as you like. They're going to run into him. At least they'll hit the refrag. But Perfecto still here, locking this down.
Some damage has actually been expended back. Perfecto will be limping away, but still has plenty of HP for the time being. Hunter did open up with that great Deagle shot, but Kenny S, Jax, they've only got the Deagles, no Kevlar to support themselves. They do look like they're definitely going to be heading towards A. Still inside Dig, Flamey, to drop Kenny. So now it's just going to be the Deagles here for Jax and Hunter. Simple, narrowly missing that shot. Well played to shoulder it out, but in the end, Jax actually does manage to find Perfecto. Flamey there for the support, though. 2 members of NaVi were still on the site. So in the end, it does be a little bit tricky for G2. They weren't able to get there, but still, they're doing some damage, Tim. You know, they're not going out of any of these rounds without mostly a fight. And they have found the sites quite regularly, but in the end, still the NaVi show. 6-3 is the scoreline. the AWP for Simple, of course. Flamey will be repurchasing it shortly as well, and we will see a purchase for G2. But they have called that tack timeout. Look, I don't blame them. They are starting to really slip away. They did have the opening start on Train as well before NaVi really sort of got that snowball effect running. So hopefully for G2's sake, they are able to bring this back. It is, of course, a CT-sided map still in its current state. But Perfecto topping the server, 13-5, has been super consistent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus, Hunter. That is very clean indeed. Got some aim on these boys, but it is NaVi leading the way so far over G2 in a much closer game than what we saw on Train. Have to see how it continues, though, as G2, with the tactical timeout over, have decided to buy. They could have gone for the AWP on Kenny and the glass cannon, but he's on the rifle with the rest of his team. Full util for all of them, going for a second mid-play, and Simple doesn't care about flashbangs. Nails Hunter. Or rather, nails Amanek. That was actually a team. You know what? I know what I'm trying to say. We'll leave that sentence and we'll move on. Just like G2 have to now move on from the loss of Amanek.
I love that.
Some mid control, but not what else. Oh, it's ballsy as heck.
Yeah, you only can really get away with it maybe once or twice in a matchup. You know, sometimes you'll see the occasional mid smoke down a little bit deeper to peek in a second mid, but just there, straight dry, I'll go for it. And they will be able to capitalize. But if it's a person that's going to pull it off, it's definitely going to be Simple. Very nice opening pick here on Amanek, who is struggling a little bit, 2-10 out of the server for now. But with that smoke going down, it looks like we may actually have a little bit of movement next to us somehow inside the fire.
Complete.
So I'm not talking a pendulum song.
Whoa. Goodness me.
Done.
Simple completely locked out by the smoke in CT. 3 versus 3. 2 players in CT already. Perfecto still on the way. Bomb down for G2, and they've got a bit of time to set up these post plants as well. There is no Molotov to flush Hunter out of that corner if he chooses to stay there. There's the smoke in, going to throw a flash for his teammate to enable the peek. CT completely blinds out Simple. Still time on that bomb, but getting pretty low here, and now NaVi have to go in. Hunter will be the pin in this one. Has to try and stop this, and Electronics found the first. There's Nexa striking through the smoke. Hunter gets traded, and it's all down to Nexa. They know exactly where he is. Goes for the flashbang. The bait from Perfecto, and Simple somehow hits it. That defuse will be coming in with just enough time left. And somehow, another round when NaVi worked their way in. G2 had such good positioning for that.
Now, super well done there in the end. Just by NaVi. G2, they obviously did really, really well there. I was a bit confused, you know, Nexa, very ballsy play to try and move his way through that smoke. The flames were down as well, but he still does manage to find the frag. Kenny S did follow him up as well with the support. But no, it is just, again, the NaVi show. You know, they've managed to send G2 out a lot of the times. G2 want to show up to the party, and they have been invited, but unfortunately they have been evicted. Most of these rounds are the retakes. NaVi's just been super clean. And now the pace changed slightly. Hunter will head up top of Nana, but he does get sent back very, very quickly. So once again, it looked like just a standard sort of default from G2. They're going to head towards the apartments control once more, slowly creeping in. 3 of them. 3 members of NaVi on the A site, though, to defend.
One thing I'd like to point out, G2 have been looking for that A pick, or the B pick even. They've thrown a bunch of util at it every time, but NaVi have thrown some straight back. In goes the A bomb site, even as NaVi start to find these picks too. Jax gets 1 entry, but Electronics still lurks in pit. Gonna get off his position with that smoke, never mind. And the bomb down in a pretty terrible position here for the C side.
I think Simple knows as well. He's looking for the head of Hunter.
Yep, righto.
But Simple breaks his wrist, knocking the head off of Jackson. This is what I mean with Simple, right? He's got an AWP in hand, but it doesn't matter. The Deagle to get the job done, and NaVi, they are feeling fully confident here. Another shot to come out from, I do believe it was Bumich there. And next up, into the 1v4. Simple actually goes down. Nexa making this work, but in the end, Bumich will swing. Nexa not expecting the third player to come round through from Graveyard, and in the end, it will be NaVi to find their 8th. Once again, they win out the half in a dominant fashion. They did the exact same on Train, where they were able to find 8 very early on that T side, obviously closing out the half with 10, as G2 pretty much, I think we're looking down basically the same situation, albeit different map and opposing sides. But very well done from NaVi here on Inferno.
I'd almost like to see G2 just try a contact play. Don't throw any utility, because every piece of utility they've thrown, NaVi have immediately counternated it. Like the example I was trying to give last round, G2 have been looking for picks B, and to do that, they've been throwing smokes and flashes, trying to get close and catch out someone at the wall, but NaVi have immediately thrown all of their own util to counter that, so this round might just be it. They've only got the pistols and no util at all, really. They're going to have to try with these flashbangs to get in close. If they can close the distance with Simple, they're probably still going to die. If it was anyone else, then, you know, they probably have a hope. But against Simple, you got to side with them in these situations, but they're going for the Apps Flood. They've got the smokes on far side, so they're executing the opposite side of the map to where they're coming out, the opposite side of the site even. But there is still this player in pit, and the bomb's going to go in right on top of him.
Pressure starts to amount now. Amanek leaping and bounding out of the apartments. Hunter has already found his way onto the site, but Boomich is there. And that's all on the next up. Might catch Flamey on the rotate. Great shot with that Deagle. We'll be able to recover an AK as well. Simple looking on the other side of the library, but now next up, looking to creep on in. Boomich is there to watch the bomb. Obviously a long way from home. If Nexter is able to find the timing, he might be able to pick up Simple, but no. Perfecto denies. 9 rounds now for NaVi, and this is getting to be a very one-sided affair, and I suppose the whole of the series has felt this way. G2 calling for that necessary tactical timeout. And once again, we don't blame them, right? They can buy here, but they've just really, really struggled during the course of this series in its entirety.
Yeah, it's been rough for them. They've been getting close to some of these bomb sites, but NaVi, they've had the read. They've had the shutdown for everything that G2 have tried. For instance, that round, they're sending the bomb and another player out through apps. And instead of telegraphing that at all, they instead throw the util like they're going to hit Arch. They try and distract. They're looking towards the other side of the bomb site. Maybe it's a B wrap. NaVi don't know that, but they have one player in pit. They've got Simple in library who can flex between Arch and helping out with A site. And they lock it down completely. Now, admittedly, I'm not going to blame G2 for that one. Pistols. Right? They've got rifles now. We'll have to see what they do with it, but G2 just feel like they've had their number all series thus far, and I'm really hoping we can see a little bit more out of G2 here. Early peek into mid from Electronic, the nade down there as well. Equally early nade into apps on that T side, but no one found out just far. And again, look how much utility NaVi are using. You can see it on your map there. 2 mollies and a smoke, plus another flash and HE trying to control Banana. Locking G2 out of it entirely, and you can see they had 3 players set up there early to attack that, and now Perfecto is rotating. Simple hits these. Shouldn't have said anything. He does miss it, but gets the info. Knows there's 2 players there. The cross was baited, and now he's going to back out, use his teammates for support. Boomich is taking control of Banana, forced out by some T utility, and they are going to come over here, but huge damage through that smoke. The only question is going to be, though, G2 are pulling the CTs all over the place. They've pulled rotations from one side of the map to the other. When do they call a player back on NaVi's side?
The one thing I'm noticing as well is I don't even think we've seen Kenny S on that AWP here on the T side of Inferno, but right now, it's not going to matter. What's going to matter or not, Flamey is going to be able to live on here. He does find Jackson the first, and not quite able to drop next up. Boomich now looking to push through, and they're all blinded up, but Hunter is actually ready for it in the end. The flashbang does sort of clip Boomich, and he ultimately does go down here. Now it's a 3-on-4. This might be the opportunity that G2 need to really bring it back. Of course, the game is not yet over. There is still plenty that can be done. Looking for that wall bang. Does narrowly miss Nexa, and almost as the third as well. However, NaVi potentially looking to exit out. Yep, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the save. Running back into CT. Simple obviously has it. They're going to try and lock down as many members on this site as possible. And Simple will be able to find Kenny S here. The flashbang does come up over, and he's sending the AWP out as well. He's going, boys, I might fall down here. I've only got 1 HP, but
it's over for me. Take this.
Captain will go down with the ship. There's the AWP
and the bomb's going to send it to them.
Thank you for it. Thank you, Mr. Bomb.
Thank you, Mr. C4, for helping us out. 9-4 then, G2. They managed to get 1 back, but only 2 rounds left in the half. They're staring down the barrel of a 12-4, 11-4 at worst. That said, a 9-6 is not too bad for them, given the way that this started. They can pull back these last 2 rounds, and admittedly, it's not... Actually, no, this round's fine. Next round might be a little bit shaky for NaVi financially. Simple's still got a bunch of money. He's been fragging out, so fair enough. Kenny S, he's not going to challenge this. He's just holding for the push, holding for the close angle. He knows he can't peek mid. But Simple will be looking for this frag, and maybe they might actually peek this together. They are. They're going to peek it at the same time, pre-fire it. Simple. Prophetic as always, hears it coming, backs away. Feels it coming, whatever it is.
Such a challenging line, though, to take, right?
Exactly.
You know, looking down into Mexi, there's the heads just popping up, coming out of nowhere. Quite often we'll take it down, and unless you do have that really crisp aim that Simple does possess, but obviously they will fall back. So still just chilling inside mid. They've got a little bit of control established. They've managed to at least send Simple back towards jungle side, but he will relax for the time being. Whether or not G2 even choose to go towards A, we'll find out shortly. But they are sending some utility up in towards dig anyway.
3 players here, though, for NaVi, ready for this push. And, of course, it's Simple playing close to this one. G2 still haven't decided where they're going. They've thrown a bunch of util, but it's a fake. And Simple's going to be the first one able to spot this. I mean, to be the first one able to spot this. Still haven't committed to B. They will now start moving over there, but there's still a smoke up in bottom banana. Boomich is here alone, though, so they haven't actually caught out this fake just yet. And there we go, more util over to A. So G2 putting everything into telling NaVi this is going to be an A hit. And Boomich has spotted it. He's going to have to run now. He'll get the flash out to try and delay. 20 seconds left. He only needs 1 or 2 kills to end this round.
Yeah, Boomich has done really, really well here to buy himself some time. Obviously spotting out all the members at bottom of banana. Boomich opening up, finding Hunter. You're exactly right, Tim. A perfect flash. Jack's at least able to trade.
No.
Now the time. Do they have it? Look where Simple is. Look where Simple is. He narrowly misses the no-scope. Actually, the second as well, and that will be the round. Flipping on its head completely. Nexa, Jax showing up when required. And that will just be immediately electronic, sent home packing. Doesn't want to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form. And G2, they find their way back on the board. They will get 5 here. And then as we move on into the final round of the half, look at the money, Tim. On the side of NaVi, it's pretty rubbish.
It's not looking good. You can see, though, just how much effort it takes to get NaVi to stay on one bomb site and not rotate someone over. They threw 2 full sets of utility at A there before they went B. And they were both staggered. So they threw the first one, and then that's when NaVi's thinking, oh, yep, it's a B hit. They're faking. They throw another set. And then run into B with, 22 seconds left when they started up banana there? It was very, very late. And Boomich, unfortunately, not quite able to do enough to delay that one. If he could have bought himself even 3 more seconds, that might have been enough. But the rest of NaVi, threw everything at that, just trying to stop that bomb plan, I guess. Simple, that's not a play you can ever endorse, but it's Simple. You know, and there's an alternate universe that works perfectly, and he landed every no-scope. So it's worth it to try these things. That would have really been one that puts G2 in a bit of a bind, both financially and mentally. Speaking of mentally, Perfecto's got some jewelies. 3 rifles, 2 pistols, 3 pistols technically, if we're going to be pedantic about it. And G2 have got themselves a full buy, including finally that AWP on Kenny S on the T side.
Wonder if this will be where Perfecto pulls out something ridiculous, maybe picking up 3 to hit 20. He is 17 and 7 right now. And there will be some apps control starting to be established shortly. Flashing their way in now. Hunter and Amanek are there. Perfecto holding that very aggressive line. And it's funny, thinking back to that little position there where Simple did try to jump up to get that no-scope. It is such a simple thing, and like a lot of the time, he does end up hitting it. Would have been nice to occur, but I think it was that slight miss that is really what gave G2 the opportunity to potentially get their way back into this map because, you know, still is a CT-sided map by far. G2 with 5, it's not the best sort of position, but at least it's much more of a respectable half.
And G2 is starting to play mind games with NaVi now, purely by showing them absolutely nothing. Simple's already gone for the rotate, even though there's now a bunch of smokes being thrown at A. They're actually just going to boost him up. They might send Boomich over to A in his place, but no, they're committed to 3 on this B bomb site. Once again, the smoke's being thrown from T-spawn into B. G2 doing much better now with the tactics, selling the fakes on both sides of the map, using their util. And now they're working their way up Arch. No one from NaVi can know about this. They can be aware of it, of course. Perfecto with the flash, but the time indeed is very, very low. 10 seconds to play.
Electronic needs to open up. The time is now, but unfortunately he can't quite get it done. And with only a second remaining, the bomb will be planted. And now it's a 3v5 situation. Of course, it is the last round of the half. They will need to go for this here. Kenny S finally with the AWP in hand. Should be able to find the shot here. He will, but Flamey, quick trade up. Dig now underneath the porches. They do start to move around. Simple, not too far away. Flashbang off the end of the apartments. Will blind up Flamey, sending him back for a little while longer. The AWP still in hand. Flamey able to find the shot on an Nexa, but now he has to find 3 more. And in the end, he actually does manage to find Hunter there, but that is G2 securing a 6 in the half. Very well done, 9-6.
Indeed it is. So a bit of redemption fee. We'll have to see if they can continue it in the next half right after this.
Wish we could learn how to love our mistakes. Straight from the jump and now wait for an answer. Wish we could smile when shit's rough nowadays. Change our reactions. Feelings don't die around this neighborhood. We used to sell a double pills, young and misunderstood. Tell me what is changing from your point of view. A smaller circle, but the range is some deja vu. I recognize my future, and there is nothing with you. Unless you turn your boat around, success might come recruit you. But unless you analyze in depth that we're steps away from death, 1,000 possibilities, act on it, Johnny Depp. For real, cause we're lonesome towns, trying to know how far that brought us down the hill. I don't wanna be stuck in countless doubts. I just wanna smile and run away from you. I swear to God, man, I just wanna be a model for my brothers. Hey, I just gotta work until I'm on the covers. Hey, I just gotta work until my songs are covered. Hey, I just wanna make it proud to be my mother. Wish we could learn how to love our mistakes. Straight from the jump and now wait for an answer. Wish we could smile when shit's rough nowadays. Change our reactions. You just gotta love yourself. 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 Hope you learned your lesson, girl. I cannot teach anymore. Hope you show some faith in me, and not like anyone. Cause I am over being sober with myself, and I'm with you. I am over being something.
Time now for half number 2 in map number 2. It's Inferno between G2 and NaVi. And G2 showing us some signs of life here, Conky. They bring it back to a 9-6 after things were looking pretty dire early on. They managed to recover just a little bit. And from a series that was looking almost over a couple rounds into that map, it was 8-3, same as Train at one point. They are back in control now. Only 3 rounds the split. That's a pistol round. It's enough to bring them back. So we'll see now, moving into the second half, of G2 have enough to bring it back. I'm sure they will be hoping they do. I'm hoping they do. I'd like a map 3. What do you reckon? They got it?
Yeah, look, I think they do. You know, the way that G2 were able to bring that back on the T side, rather, they were super fluid, I suppose, with their aggression, especially towards the end. You know, they were able to isolate the picks and really start to overwhelm NaVi. You know, NaVi had a fair few very, very clean retakes. There's the king himself, Simple on the cam. Look at this man. But yeah, no, very well done in the end to recover well from G2. Now they move on to the favored CT side. We'll get a cheeky little nade down, but it's actually Amanek to find the opener here. Electronic taken rather low, and immediately there's already carnage coming out as mid control has been established, and there is a bomb dropped. Amanek will find it, but it's all on
GG bet odds, by the way.
Oh my.
8.5 to 1.05. GG bet certainly seems to think that NaVi have got this one. It's all Nexa, though. 1 versus 3 on the CT side. He's on the A bomb site, and that's the tricky part in a situation like this. You got to gamble. You just got to guess. Now he is going to go over to that B bomb site, but he's going to be far, far too late. NaVi cutting no corners. They know it's a 3v1, but they're still throwing all their util. They're clearing everything, and only when it's safe will they plant. Nexa, for his part, spots the smoke. He knows it's here, but there's a lot of work yet to do.
Does have the smoke, does have the flash, but unfortunately no kit in hand. I didn't see where that one got dropped over to. It probably did get taken in and amongst the carnage inside mid. Of course, it is a common strategy to try and take that early mid control, but in the end, it didn't quite pay off for G2. Amanek was able to find a couple of cool kills, but now it's all on an Nexa inside this 1v3, and right now it looks like he may very well just look to sort of challenge, see if he can keep any of these members actually back on the side. He will. Electronic crossing out now, doesn't do the damage. It's actually Electronic to find it. 3 kills for Flamey, 2 for Electronic, and a very well, nicely founded round there from NaVi, 10-6, as they open up the T side with gusto.
So flashback to about a minute and a half ago when I said that's just a pistol round separating them. That, of course, was depending on G2 winning it. And despite the early frags, immediately NaVi pull it back, spin it around. Nice shooting from Flamey.
My
Goodness me. That was incredibly nice indeed. And for G2, it's the Deagles. They've got 3 HE grenades. They can try and do some damage with them. Down to 2 now. They've just thrown 1. They can waste some time with these smokes, but they're facing down a full buy. Certainly not going to be an easy one for them to hold on to here, but got a chance.
What do they do here? Early nade already to damage down. Simple looks like he's happy to just sit with the Deagle for the time being. So G2, they've invested just enough where they won't be able to buy fully into the next, but you know, maybe giving themselves some comfort early. The 5 Deagles can quite often get the job done. We've seen that in this series already. Actually saw it a couple of times, but there you go. Simple. Doesn't need a rifle in any way, shape, or form, apparently.
Why did he even carry one
to Kenny S?
Deagle?
Yeah,
I know he doesn't have her on right now, but there's so many times where he's got an AWP or something, he's just like, yep, Deagle.
Deagle's fine. It works.
It certainly is. Looks like we are going to be heading in towards the A bomb site here for NaVi. Next are in the corner. They're ready for it. They're holding it. Boomich is watching. Electronic will surely check it. There it is.
Good
There
clear.
was a chance for the shot, but unfortunately next is a fraction too slow. Incredibly hard to hit those. Jax goes for 1. Not going to get anything out of it, though. And in the 3 versus 5, NaVi flooding onto this A bomb site. He'll manage the 1, but no more than that. That should be Jackson Hunter just playing their lines here. If they can hit a headshot and steal a rifle, then all good, but it's not looking ideal for them. 2 versus 4 as NaVi head towards 11.
Maybe Jax will be able to find something cheeky here, but it will be a challenge regardless. Simple waiting just inside the cubby. But a minute 5. Oh, hang on. Never mind. That's actually the bomb is counting down. Yeah, look at it.
A little bit weird, but it's fine.
Simple's found one as well in the process. 2 for him. Happy on this Deagle. And now Hunter just waiting to see if anyone will pass on by as the bombs does start to tick away. Almost done. And it looks like that will be a 11th round found for NaVi. Hunter good for 1, not quite the second. Boomich to do the damage. And in the end, that's almost actually what takes him down. But very well done there by NaVi, solidifying themselves, sitting at 11. And they are only now 5 away from not only winning out the map, but also the match to sit themselves happily at the top of the group and obviously sending off G2 in style.
Yeah, G2 not really showing us too much, unfortunately. And I don't think that's even really so much them to blame. It's been a really good night for NaVi. Been playing very well indeed, and they've got multiple players who've been popping off. Of course, Simple. We always talk about Simple, but Boomich was a dominant force on Train. Perfecto had an incredibly nice first half on this map. Flamey's pistol round, we saw it. Electronic, of course, always consistent. I know I just named every player on NaVi, but it kind of do be like that sometimes, you know? Just the pistols here on G2, and I'm not feeling too good about it. But of course, as I say that, Hunter finds the 1. Jax, though, overrun. And it will be the rotate back onto the A-bomb side for the CTs with 1 player on T side, still making some noise at B.
Kenny S seeing what he can find. Boomich. Do you think he actually did spot him in the end? Yes, he did. So bomb will be planted over towards that A side as they can now sit and just sort of relax for a little while. Looks like they might try to do some additional damage, already looking to clear a little bit further, but Simple in an awkward situation. He does still have the Deagle in hand, and he still somehow manages to find these additional kills. Electronic for 1 more onto Amanek. And now it's all on a Hunter here in a 1v3, but he might just try to hightail it out of there, head back towards the B site, and maybe just try and live on. He doesn't have any Kevlar, not really anything to save a whole lot. But running actually over towards the bomb. He's obviously not going to find anything, and he actually might have put himself in a bit of a predicament. But Boomich will find him. 2 kills found in the round. 12 now secured for NaVi. And G2 really struggling to sort of amp up the pressure. They will be able to get the AWP into the hands of Kenny S. But maybe a little bit too late. There is still time, though. I'm not going to count G2 out of this just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm also not going to count him out. I think it depends on how they establish this AWP. So we'll have to keep an eye on Kenny and where he goes. Looks like he's going to be going over towards that A site. Either go for a pick in mid, or he could even go for a very aggressive AWP pick into apps. It's one of those things that's risky, but if you can hit it, it's worth it because the other team's never going to see it coming, and it looks like that is, in fact, what he's doing. Aggression into Banana from that CT side, and I completely lied to you. Kenny's playing top mid. Simple's found his first. Gets traded by Amanek, but again, dictating the pressure early on. That was a pick towards Banana, and the Tees are still putting some pressure on this. Amanek going to boost up his teammate before getting a smoke down to reinforce it. And more utility going out onto A, I believe. As trades go back and forth, 3-3 in terms of players. A minute 20 on the clock.
It's only going to be Hunter as well, trying to defend this A bomb site. Moving up now quickly. Amanek will join. Now about to move into Arch. Perfecto still holding that line. It's going to be a interesting re-aggression from Amanek. Perfecto able to find that. Least next are good for the trade, but now they try and move on to the side. Hunter has a big task ahead here. Finds one. Boomich with the trade. It's all onto a one-on-one now. Next up, will he find the right timing? Boomich going for the line and not quite going to be able to find it. G2 put themselves back on the map. 7 rounds here and a big sip of fresh air into the lungs as they can slowly start to feel the pressure subside. But they've still got plenty of rounds they need to find. 5 is the difference, whereas NaVi are only 4 away from success in the entirety of this series.
Indeed they are, and a near thing for both teams there. That one could have easily gone either way, but it's Nexa in the end who will close it in the 1 versus 1 with Boomich. Both players caught a little bit out in the open, but manages to find the shot first, and that is what matters. The AWP lost from Kenny. Unfortunately, hasn't had really too much impact with it this game, or this map, I should say. So the rifle's not the worst downgrade in the world for him. Perfecto checking out Banana. The utility usage going to keep him out. This nade could do some good damage, but Boomich is never mind. As soon as he's in front of it, it bounces really harshly off the wall. And we'll tag him for half his health. But NaVi, they still want to go over towards this B bomb site. 4 players in Banana. Flamey coming over to join them as well. Bomb present. And G2 do have a bunch of utility, but it's going to depend on how quick they are to get it out. There's the smoke.
Nexa and Amanek, are they going to be able to defend this one? Because it looks like NaVi, they'll be leaping and bounding through these smokes here. Amanek will be forced out of the site there. Perfecto, in the end, does manage to find one. Flamey good for another. But despite the vision denied, Amanek will find an additional frag. Now, Jax and Hunter have to start to slowly make their way up Nana. The bomb will be planted here. Usual spot, just on the other side of the coffins. NaVi start to tick the timer. They will actually boost Simple on the top of this boxy. You love to see it. Electronic's going to be the person to find it. Now jumping up to the site. It's just going to be Jax inside this 1v3, and it looks like NaVi should be able to solidify it. But Jax might have something to say about it. Drops Electronic, but now there is the immediate exit. He's got no kit in hand, no real time to work with, and he will give up a 13th round for NaVi, and the money on the G2 situation isn't looking the most crash hot either. Likely going to meet the fate of an eco here. But as the rounds start to stack up from NaVi, the pressure just continues to build on G2. NaVi now only 3 away from victory.
And on their side, the money is looking very solid. So we got a good bit of fringe cam there. NaVi have looked pretty calm this whole series, really, from everything we've seen on their player cams, and they have reason to be. They've been in control of this series pretty much the entire time. Let's have a look what the buy is going to be here. Flamey goes on to that Mac 10 just to bully the players who will be on pistols. Jax has got that saved M4, and here comes another attack timeout from G2. They used 2 on train. They're currently on their 3rd of this map, still with rounds to play, and they've got to figure out something here. NaVi are perfectly happy to play this slow pick style, and G2 haven't really had too much of an answer there. Even that round, they had their last 2 players down mid and flanking once the bomb was planted, and that flank got there pretty quickly, but it still wasn't quick enough. NaVi were ready for it.
Absolutely.
And having a look at the frag counts, look how even NaVi are.
Wow.
15 to 19, the distribution. Everyone within that range. Although worth noting on G2, Nexa, right up there with them. 97 ADR, tied with Boomich and Electronic for the top ADR in the server.
I love how Amanek's not too far behind. You know, has 8 kills, but still only sits just below the top fragger on the side of G2. Impact player, we'll call it that. But they need to find some impact back as NaVi super close to closing out this series in its entirety, but I've got faith. I know the G2 have the capacity to do this. They just need to put the pieces of the puzzle together, as they are struggling a little bit right now. Jack's the only person with the rifle. Of course, they have gone for the eco around it. No Kevlar at all in the server.
Look at the change up from NaVi.
G2. Yeah.
They've thrown the util into B to fake that out, try and keep a player here, and they're taking contact control of lower bracket. This is the first bit of util they've thrown, and it's a smoke to library where one player has been spotted. Nexa has to go back and play the wrap. Hunter, this close range inside of apartments could work for him, has a teammate with him as well, but NaVi are all over this. Surely they won't let these CTs run away, and Flamey's going to crouch it. Perfect crouch to get under the headshot. That's 2 players removed already, and the rest of G2 to retake.
Bradley Tiger hidden flamey here as he will find it with the Mac 10. Electronic to open up with 2. And now it's all on a Kenny S inside the site. Is he going to be able to find anything here? He is on the opposing side of the smoke. Flamey has spotted him out. Kenny will be able to pick up 1 here, but with no Kevlar, unfortunately, Boomich will be able to take him down with the Glock. The site is found. They don't even need to get the bomb plant down because NaVi, they will find 14 here. And now G2 with what could possibly be their final chance to really go in deep with that buy. Obviously, we haven't really seen Kenny on the AWP a whole lot. I mean, look, he's just not really been the player that we expected, you know? He's had fantastic rounds on train that I can remember, of course, but still certainly not feeling himself, I guess you could say.
Yeah, not really having the impact that we're looking for here. He's going to get it out again and look for a pick towards Banana, and that's where I think Kenny really shines. Given a nice long angle and the ability to lock it down solo, that's where we've seen all of his best moments over his entire career. He just needs to be able to have a bit of an impact and direct the flow of the game into his favor early on, and he's not found anything here really. NaVi off that last round going to do pretty much the exact same thing, contacting up into the lower bracket, and Electronic destroys Nexa. Does catch a dink for his troubles, but look at this. A minute 20, already NaVi are all around this A bomb site. 2 players here, both isolated over near the pit. Hunter though is going to manage 1, and that could be the start for G2.
This is where the pressure does start to amount, right? You've seen them. Hunter had to push inside the apartments knowing that there was going to be a potential wrap coming around Archers. And there we go. Jax, Hunter delivering what G2 need from the pit position. And up inside the apartments as well. Looks like it's all on a Boomich and Electronic. Would never put him past winning out a 2v4 like this, but with Electronic down on 11 points of HP, that earlier dink that you did speak about, Kenny S inside the library, doesn't look like the bomb will be going around Dig. It looks like it actually might head into the crosshair of Kenny S, but in the end, they do move back. The utility will head over. Boomich needs to try and find Jax or Hunter here to get the entry onto the site. He's the only real player with HP Boomich out of the 2, and he's already crossed up. Might have actually found the right amount of timing because now he looks to swing in, has spotted out Jax, but I don't think he's seen Hunter at the top of the apartments. Electronic, will he be able to receive this information? No. Hunter with 3. And that's all on a Boomich. Kenny S has the line, and it will be Jax. So that's a phenomenal round. The little dynamic duo, the tag team from Jax and Hunter, was exactly what G2 needed to bring their way back into this. 8 rounds now, still winnable. But NaVi, edge closer to victory.
They do indeed, but at least G2 stabilize a little bit. And the money on NaVi, they're still fine. Sitting at $4,000 to $5,000 a player before the purchase comes on in. But more importantly, G2 is starting to stabilize a little bit. Jack's down on $0, of course, but Kenny S, the AWPer, sitting on 2K. Hunter and Amanak also around that amount of money. Starting to get a little bit of life here in Inferno. Late into the game for sure, but at least they're finding something. And so far, they're avoiding overtime. NaVi still on 14. Needing 2 to close this one out. Kenny S sitting on this angle. Surely one of these rounds is going to get challenged and have a chance here. They're going to flash in. I think they're challenging him just yet, but they'll force him off the line and maybe bait out some more utility. And that's been something we've seen a lot of from NaVi, just trying to bait out as much G2 utility as they can. This time, though, they have used a lot of their own, and they're still wanting this B hit. All 5 players here. It's Kenny S, the first to face.
Kenny S hitting the necessary AWP shot required to defend the B side. Amanek will look to reposition, get some damage dealt through the smoke, but Flamey not quite yet going to go down. Kenny S to find an additional frag. Amanek, 1 through the smoke. Flamey will go down, but so will Kenny. Electronic good for 2 here, but now it's all in a simple in a 1v3. And we're talking about it last game though, right? Weren't we, Tim? If you want to hear who's alive in this 1v3, you don't want to be hearing Simple. Next up will be the first to meet his fate as Simple finding it. The Undertaker, as he is known, just going to wait now. Has 35 seconds remaining. Does have the bomb in hand. No utility. So he's just going to have to rely on his raw firepower, which he's got plenty of. 16 and 14. They're picking into him. They're gifting it to him. 1v1 now. Simple just needs to try and swing, and he will fall. In the end, he does manage to find it. Simple, you will never fail to impress me. And not even a change of face either. Oh, there you go. Cheeky little smile. On you, Simple.
Gosh. You can't give Simple those one-on-ones. And that's, in fairness, that is really tough for the CTs, because when you think about where Simple is, sure, it's easy to say don't peek him one-on-one, but he has the entirety of the construction or the church and back onto that bomb site to swing through. He could be anywhere in that angle. So you either play together and crossfire one angle and risk him walking out the other way, or you've got to try and cover both. And when it's against a player like Simple, he's going to try and find that 1v1. He was able to exploit that. It's not a round that he should be getting away with, but get away with it he does. It's 15 for NaVi on the board now. Just one more needed for Series Perfecto. That is very ambitious with a Mac 10. So at least the first frag is given over to G2, but they've got a lot more work yet to do, both in this round and in this game as a whole.
Still kind of in shock a little bit about Simple winning that one. It does put them in such the pole position to really close out this series with a bang. You know, again, G2, they still could potentially get this one done. 7 rounds they need to find to connect up with that 15, bringing it to overtime. We have seen plenty of overtimes on the fateful map of Inferno, but now with the utility going up over towards B, it looks like they're again hungry to try and close this one out. Kenny's going to be burning down. The Molotovs really, really solid here as there's Flamey and Movich opening up the door to the B side, and they are here to stay. 3 versus 4 here. Flamey very low. But Jax, he's only got a Deagle. Nexa just with the MP9. Hunter's the only one with the M4. There's no kid in play unless there is one on that site. I didn't quite see if one was felled earlier. But now with that bomb being planted, Simple on top of the boost, looking to potentially try and make it 20 here. Exactly right, then. Swinging around, Jax will take some damage, so will Simple. But now they need the shots to connect, and there it will be. Electronic with 2. Simple also won for his troubles, and it will be a 16-8 scoreline here on Inferno for NaVi.